Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to a modern RPG, because this time we're going to be looking at Everyday Heroes, which is a update of D20 Modern. Taking D20 Modern, which was 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons, taken into the modern era, and updating it to 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Some absolutely great stuff in there. And this is because Dave Scott of Evil Genius Productions, the writers of Everyday Heroes, got in touch with me and say they'd seen my review of the quick start rules and some of their other things, and they wanted to know if I'd be interested in reviewing some of their other stuff. And I definitely was. I've loved everything they've put out. They are great guys, and their offer was very much appreciated. So it was very fun to look through this, especially as I'd so liked D20 Modern, even though I've been a very late convert to it. But anyway, let's have a look at Everyday Heroes. So this is Everyday Heroes. Came out from Evil Genius Productions in 2022, and it's an update of D20 Modern. Now, I was very much a latecomer to D20 Modern. I've only picked it up while I've been running this YouTube channel the last 4 years or so, but I was a big fan of it. Now, it ticks a lot of boxes for me, because I absolutely adored the 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons rules, and D20 Modern takes those rules and applies them to a modern era. And I tend to prefer that setting over fantasy. So D20 Modern really ticked a lot of boxes for me. So when I saw Everyday Heroes coming out, I picked up the quick start rules and covered them back in the day. And I really liked what they'd done. What they've done is taken D20 Modern, but instead of having the 3rd edition D&D rules, they've got the 5th edition D&D rules behind it as well. But it's all the same concept. So character classes being based on the attributes with modern equipment and modern skill sets. It's D&D 5e, but modern day. And it really works. I liked everything they did about it. D20 Modern had a certain artistic style to it, and Everyday Heroes has that same style throughout. It's definitely a legacy product. It looks absolutely brilliant and looks like it's D20 Modern brought up to the modern day, especially as they've got the involvement of Jeff Grubb. Now, Jeff Grubb was one of the main writers of D20 Modern, and he's involved in this as well as a bunch of new people who are fans of D20 Modern. So, we've got a updated version. Now, as I said, the artwork is of a different style to Dungeons & Dragons. It's maybe a little more cartoony. I really like what they did, but your mileage may vary. But the cover image and the wraparound images we've got here of a Ferrari F40, I believe that is, with the heroes in a city street with explosions going off behind them. Very action movie. And that's what they're going for here. They're trying to do movies of the modern era. And one of the things I really like about this, beyond what D20 Modern did, is the way it tries to incorporate everything from the modern era. So we've got horror stuff, we've got action stuff, we've got sci-fi stuff, everything. We'll see that as we come up to the monsters section. Credits page, table of contents, very clear, and not cluttered like many games were. The foreword from Jeff Grubb himself, talking about how they developed D20 Modern. And then, welcome to Everyday Heroes. What you need to play, the usual introduction section, how to use this rulebook, introduction to roleplay, what is an RPG, new to RPGs, new to 5th edition rules, want to be a games master, all the usually introductory stuff. We've got a sample of role-playing here regarding diversity. A very nice section, although some might consider it woke, but I certainly don't. I very much like that. The GM's discretion. What styles of play there are, describing the dice. These are fairly standard sections in any role-playing game. Now, core mechanics, roll a d20, add any modifiers, compare the result to a target number. Nicely laid out and clear. We've got rules jargon, so clearing up all the terms. And then we're on to part 1, Heroes. Now, this is absolutely massive. Where you look through most role-playing games, you'll get a few dozen pages on character creation. The Heroes section here is huge. It's about 100 pages, maybe even slightly more. So we go through creating your concept. We've got different strong heroes, different agile, tough, smart, wise, and charming heroes. Picking the backgrounds, archetypes and classes table. So it goes through what's available to you. Professions, describing what the attributes do. Talking about archetypes and class. And then we've got finishing touches. Things like equipment shopping. We talk through gaining levels. And then we go straight into backgrounds. So we've got where your character's coming from. Your character's background represents an important factor of their life and the influences of who they are today. So we've got activists, art lovers, bookworms, caregivers, cosmopolitan, gamers, immigrants. Now, some of these I find slightly amusing because we've got LARPer here. You spent your weekends pretending to be a warrior of past era, wizard, vampire, or the like. And then on the next page, we've got Raised by Assassins, which I find so massively different, you know. Oh, I'm a LARPer. Oh, I was an orphan when I was brought up. Well, I was raised by assassins. Poor families, as I said, orphan, person of mystery. Survivors, technophiles, wealthy families. Then we've got professions. So are you in academia, in agriculture, athletics, counselling? Are you a daredevil? Are you in crime? Emergency services, finance, faith. We've got some kind of priest on a motorbike here. Do you work for the intelligence agencies? Are you an investigator, law enforcement? All the different careers, basically, what your character does on a day-to-day basis. Students, trades, transportation, are they unemployed or are they white collar? And then we've got the archetypes and classes. So we've got strong heroes. Now I really love this image for the raccoon hanging onto the piece of wood that the guy's using or lifting, carrying his chainsaw. So we've got strong heroes, and then between those we've got brawlers with their abilities. We've got heavy gunners. We've got MMA fighters. And then we're on to the agile heroes. So we've got martial artists. We've got scoundrels. We've got sharpshooters. Then we've got tough heroes. We've got bodyguards, commandos, scrappers. Now smart heroes, engineers, hackers, masterminds. With loads and loads of different abilities for those. Scientists. We've got wise heroes. So hunters, including some of the animals that they can have as companions. We've got masters. Sleuths. Then we've got charming heroes. We've got duelists. Icons. To me that looks a bit like Russell Brand, which given where he's ended up these days. What else we got? Leaders. Manipulators. Which, when I first saw this, in my head, I'd already put this down as an influencer rather than manipulator. Are they different things? Then we've got finishing touches, and we're up to page 121, and we've just gone through elements of creating the character. As I said, it's a massive section, about 100 pages, of choosing different combinations to make your character yours. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. And different calculations, what persona your character's got, their biography, their beliefs, virtues, flaws, quirks, all the standard stuff from 5th edition. We've got a large equipment section. So we've got equipment packs with just generalized amount of stuff in it. Equipment rules here, armor and shields, weapons, basic melee weapons, basic ranged weapons, advanced melee weapons, advanced ranged weapons, different types of armor there, historical melee weapons, improvised melee weapons, military equipment. We've got everything else, ammunition, electronics, hardware, sporting goods, vehicles. We've got a bunch of different vehicles going right up the way to tanks. So we've got APCs, Humvees and tanks here. Helicopters, machine guns for helicopters. We've got their base, so you can have a site with an armory, laboratories, safe houses, workshops, etc. We're on to the feats section. Now, obviously, feats are less important in 5th edition than they were in 3rd edition. In 3rd edition, they were a major part because you tended to get a lot more of them. Where they are a bit more rare, you tend to take your attribute boosts when you go up levels rather than taking loads and loads of feats. But they still allow you to do some interesting stuff. They are of equal value to increasing one of your ability scores. So we've got lots of different ones, advanced skill training, equipment training, investments, artful dodger, blade master, fast hands, gunfighter, gunner, racer, skirmisher, snatch victory, advanced feats major, so fortune's fall. We've got guerrilla, signature weapon, strong hero multi-class feats, agile hero multi-class feats, just loads and loads of feats to allow you to, as you're advancing your character, gain different abilities to make your character very, very different from everybody else's. Then we're on to the rules section, and these are the standard 5th edition rules. So we've got stuff like advantage and disadvantage, rerolls, die steps, ability scores, ability checks, difficulty classes, passive checks, skills, the list of what all the skills do. Obviously, this is an updated one. There's things like computers in there, which aren't in standard 5th edition D&D. We've got saving throws, different status effects, so you can be incapacitated or grappled or frightened. We're going to how combat works, laying all of that out, different actions. Attack actions, we've got the attack basics. Melee attacks, ranged attacks, going through all the stuff, taking you through hitting, doing damage, etc. What happens when you reach 0 hit points, personal armor, restoring lost hit points, temporary hit points. Got miscellaneous rules, so things like companions, environmental challenges, falling, suffocation, visibility, starvation, hiding, being restrained, breaking things, so smashing open a door rather than picking a lock, different types of traps, with far more modern ones. So we've got, trip alarms, trip trap, chases and vehicles, how to handle those, different limitations while you're being chased. Obviously you can't be running at full pelt and shooting a weapon, so there are limitations on what you can do. Got vehicle damage. We've got the GM's toolbox, so how to games master. We've got sample DCs, areas of effect, designing encounters, all the nice stuff to help a games master get ready for running this game. Complications during chases, things like busy street, a fruit cart, things being under construction. These are obviously all chosen out of movie chases, which is brilliant stuff. A suspicious cop, twisting alleyways, dumpster. Really, really good stuff. Problems you might encounter inside, running up and down stairs, cramped spaces, a door that's locked in your way. Racing across rooftops, you've got pigeons, and there could be sloped roofs, open rooftops. Just different chase problems in very much different locations. Vehicle chases. In the country, we've got restricted equipment, because obviously you're not going to be able to carry an assault rifle around in the streets if you're just an ordinary person. Your academic character cannot be carrying an assault rifle around without a very good reason. Computer hacking and security. Snipers. Calling the authorities, what kind of response you might get. And calling the authorities on the heroes. We've got optional rules, so quick rests, tracking ammunition, sudden death, poison effects, injuries, including short-term and long-term injuries, diseases, recreational drugs, drug contamination, how to run a game. So going through the usual loop, how to narrate things, how to handle hit points and damage, when to roll dice. Saying yes and, so when players suggest something, you go yes, but this happens as well, to make it more interesting, so they're not getting everything they want. talking through Session 0, how to build the heroes with the players, to know your players. Lots of very good advice here. Packing adventure. It's got a chart here on building tension across a story, which I can see the logic in, but I think, especially if a story lasts more than just a couple of sessions, you kind of want to really build the tension throughout and keep it high. While the climax should have a certain amount of tension, the early parts shouldn't be just kind of boring. So I'm not sure I agree with that, but I like the idea, and it goes for movies, and this is trying to recreate action movies. Improvising. Troubleshooting problems. How to create adventures. Lots of great advice in there, including what happens in what period of the modern era, whether it's the 1990s or you're going into the future. And combining genres, so you can have horror games, you can have science fiction games, etc. Planning versus improvisation. And then we're on to the last large section, opponents and allies. So it talks you how to run NPCs and monsters, basically. Large, quick table of lots and lots of monsters, because we're going to go through them. So we've got modern day NPCs, so criminals, punks, muggers, goons, thieves, gangsters, enforcers, hitmen, mob lieutenants, gang leaders. The amount of NPCs and monsters in this is absolutely massive, and the variation is incredible, because we're just going through different ends of the modern day. So assassins, kingpins, we've got cultists with lots of different types. Espionage, so intelligence agents and spies. We've got law enforcement officers of different types, up to SWAT. We've got the military, so heavy weapons officers, snipers, veterans, super soldiers, so genetically engineered Captain America type super soldiers. Security, so ordinary guards or bouncers, private security, bodyguards, elite security. Miscellaneous people, so just average civilians. Crazed maniac. I almost said he was a mechanic. A crazed maniac. Crazed mechanics would be something completely different. Hunters, kickboxers, slashers. Obviously, sort of Jason Voorhees here. And as I said, the variety is incredible. You can go into slasher horror in this. Mad scientists, ultimate badass. We've got different types of robots, from basic drones going up to robot dogs. Ordinary animals, so goats, venomous bugs, birds of prey, mules, pigs, alligators, camels, swarms of bats, apes, black bears, great cats, brown bears, rhinoceros, sharks, piranha, moose. Prehistoric and historic NPCs, so ancient warriors, ninjas, ancient hunters, barbarians, sword initiates, shaman warriors, ancient champions, sword experts, who are obviously supposed to be samurai here. Prehistoric animals, so we've got different types of dinosaur, saber-toothed tiger, Tyrannosaurus rexes. We've got aliens, so an alien abductor, an alien warrior. Alien bugs, so we're into alien and aliens territory. We've been through Predator here. Or here we are, Alien Hunter. Entity from beyond, so we're going into almost Cthulhu mythos type stuff. Alien bug queen, a god from beyond. Robot servants, we're going into the future here with hunter-seeker drones. Robotic soldiers, so we're going into sort of Terminator territory. Killer robot. We've got mutant here, so sewer mutant, super mutant. Supernatural ones, so we've got different types of demons. We've got vampires. Zombies of different types, including zombie dogs, a licker, an elite warrior, a reanimated skeleton, ghouls, gargoyles, werewolves, mummies, and then how to create new. We've gone through about 100 pages of monsters. We've got 100 pages of creating your character and 100 pages of opponents. It's a very well balanced game. We're looking at 460 pages here. There's a lot in this book. Finishing off, we'll skip through the last bit. We've got appendixes. We've got the index. Very long to help you find things. Got a character sheet, which looks very 5th edition. The attributes down the side here with the skills, obviously with proficiency and expertise. So as you got levels, you gain extra levels of proficiency. which you add on to the bonus from your attribute, and expertise is you double that. So if you've got +2 proficiency and a skill with an expertise, you're adding +4. Still don't like it as much as skills in 3rd edition, but we're dealing with the 5th edition rules here, so it is what it is. Space on for weapons, talents and feats, plans and tricks, got persona, biography, some cards for places, for vehicles, and the open game license at the very end. I really like Everyday Heroes. While 5th edition rules aren't my favourite, this is a fantastic way of bringing 5e up to date. Now, obviously, I'll be doing a rules breakdown video to go through how these rules work. I've done one on the quick start rules, but having the full rules to go through and get everything right this time will be very, very cool. Because I do see a number of areas where it does differ from 5th edition, taking across ideas which they introduced in D20 Modern, and they are bringing those up to date as well. Great stuff. So that was Everyday Heroes, and I really liked what they've done there. The style of it's very much like D20 Modern, a look that I liked. They've kept the core aspects of D20 Modern, a game which I became a huge fan of when I reviewed it for this channel. But they've updated it to 5th edition. They've kept it up to date for modern audiences, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I'll need to do a rules breakdown on this, because not all of the rules are exactly the same as 5th edition. There's certain things I hinted at as I went through the rules there, but didn't go into any detail. Things like dice steps. So damage can be increased or decreased. So you can ramp dice up. So a weapon that does a D8 can be ramped up to a D10. And likewise, you can ramp it up further. There's D12s, D20s. Or it can be lowered, so a D8 can be lowered to a D6. So weapons change the amount of damage, especially if they're doing multiple dice. It can be very, very different. So I think a rules breakdown is important to do so we can see these differences and see how they work. But anyway, as usual, I think I've been whittering on for quite long enough. So thank you very much for watching. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves. And I'll catch you later. Bye now.